How many of you guys make video content? How many of you make non-video content, like blogs or newsletters? Okay, okay, cool. Now, how many of you guys have recently said something along the lines of, I don't have time to fill in the blank? I don't have time to make a video. I don't have time to write a newsletter. Okay, so around like 90% of you guys think that you don't have time, right? Let me show you something. Every week, content creators spend, on average, about 12 hours doing low-value business activities. You know, they spend around 5 hours watching TikTok for research purposes, even though you and I know that's not actually what's happening. And 4 hours on low-value communication stuff, right? Emailing random people. In total, this is about 21 hours in a week. Almost a full day spent on doing non-productive, low-value stuff. And I use these numbers, even though I just made them up, to prove a point, right? Some of you guys felt it in here. Some of you are like, oh, damn, Vincent's really calling me out. Like I knew you guys were doing this. But the truth is, we all waste time. We are all doing stuff non-productively and focusing on non-productive activities. That we'd be better off if we hired someone to do them so we can free up our schedule and focus on more important tasks. Things that help us grow, things that make us more fulfilled, things that make us more satisfied. Things like watching TikTok videos for research purposes. This is not actually mine, but. So, today I want to talk about how you can build out your content creation dream team so you can, again, free up your schedule, but instead grow your business, expand your reach, serve your market, and of course, make more money. And we're going to do that by going over a couple of talking points. One is we're going to go over some mindsets that tend to hold people back. 3 mindsets that held me back. We're going to go into the optimal hiring order, who you should hire first, second, third, so on and so forth. The hiring funnel, how can you make it more efficient? How can you hire someone faster and get them onboarded? And also the systems and processes in order to manage your team effectively. But first, who am I? My name is Vincent Chan, and I help people build wealthier and healthier lives. My main platform is on YouTube, where I have around 800,000 subscribers. I also create short-form content, TikTok, Instagram. My main newsletter is Rethinkable, with around 40 to 50,000 subscribers. And I also occasionally do speaking events like this, so I can get some cool pictures. So friends or photographers, please, get some angles, something flattering. I'll turn on my AirDrop later. I've also been featured on Business Insider, Fortune, Entrepreneur, and a couple of other publications. But the question on everyone's minds today, probably the most important thing you guys are wondering, that's why you came here, is what about the baby pictures? So I'm going to show you some here. Born and raised in New York. Any New Yorkers? Yes? Where are you guys from? Oh, you're from Queens. Where are you from? Queens. Oh, awesome, Queens. Oh, I'm also from Queens. Always good to see Queens people. So born and raised in New York, and I was always an entrepreneur at heart. Always tried to hustle, make money, do side hustles. Bought candy from Costco, tried to resell it to friends in high school. Designed clothes, tried to buy it in bulk and sell it to friends in high school. Bought and sold used cell phones on Amazon and eBay. But unfortunately, I could not sell enough candy to my friends in high school to retire off of. So I had to go to college. I went to Vanderbilt. Anyone go to Vanderbilt? Nashville? No? Okay. Well, I graduated with a degree in economics, then worked in finance, and I absolutely hated it. I don't know if you guys know what Snapchat is. It's becoming a thing again now. But this is from a couple of years ago. I don't know if you can read it, but I said, so excited for my first day at work. I am making a YouTube channel, and I hope it gets big so I can quit this POS within the year. Be on the lookout. And thank you. Thank you. And that's what I focused on for a very couple months, right? This is what my schedule looked like. I woke up at 5 or 6 a.m., and I worked on YouTube content creation until 7 a.m. Then I got ready, went to the office at 8 a.m., and worked until 8 p.m. And that's a good day. Then came home, 9 p.m. until 1 a.m., worked more content. And this was my grind pretty much every single day on the weekends, on the weekdays, for a very long time. And it was a struggle, right? Maybe I had like 5 minutes of breathing room here. But even though I was doing so much, putting so much effort into this, I was only able to produce about 1 video every week, maybe every 2 weeks. And those videos were terrible. They had like 50 views, 100 views, 200 views. And it was just really disheartening to see all that effort and barely anyone watching. But then one day, during the summer months, I had an epiphany. Right? I realized that I really wanted to go on vacation. So, and I didn't want to like stop making content, so I wanted to be more consistent, to be able to grow. So it was around that time frame when I decided, okay, I'm going to hire a video editor. I was going to front load a bunch of raw footage, have him edit it for me, so we can consistently post it while I was on vacation. That's what we did. So we started doubling the amount of content we made. Our growth increased. Our views increased. We got more sponsorships, better affiliate deals, increasing our income. We expanded our team. We hired writers, designers, more video editors, and so on and so forth. I was able to build out a system where it took me from making 1 video every 1 or 2 weeks into now having a media business where we run multiple YouTube channels, producing multiple videos a week, multiple newsletters, multiple times a week, as well as creating short-form content on Instagram and TikTok. So, So that is why a content creation team is really helpful. It helps you scale your business. So I want to just survey the audience right now and ask you guys, what's holding you guys back? Why haven't you made your first hire, or why haven't you expanded your team yet? Anyone? Russ. Russ does not have enough money to do so. Thank you. Yes? Fear of losing control? Okay, yeah. Yes?
Making the right hiring decision and not making mistakes.
Making the right hiring decision. Okay, one more. Sorry, say that one more time? Editing time takes too long. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so a lot of these are very valid reasons, and these are also things that I experienced when I was trying to build out a team. So the next few slides, I'm going to go over some reasons that were holding me back, and I just want you guys to just raise your hand if they were applicable to you. Again, they're not mutually exclusive, meaning you can have multiple reasons. So starting off with number 1, you think if you spend more time and more effort into your business, you think you'd make more profit. Anyone? That's why you guys are, you love being bogged down into the daily tasks, the daily operations, the really small stuff, and that's why you think, right? You think if you work harder, you're going to make more money. And that's how we were raised. If you study for longer, you'll get better grades. If you stay longer in the office, you might get a raise. But that doesn't really apply when you're doing content or entrepreneurship. And that's what you guys teach your people too, right? In personal finance. You don't tell people work for your money. You ask them, or you tell them, make your money work for you. So why not apply the same principles to your business? Instead of working for your business, why not make your business work for you? Are you building on an asset, or are you just building a job for yourself? The problem with just focusing on the daily operations and the low-value activities all the time and getting bogged down is that you lose the bigger picture of your business, right? If my mission is to help people build wealthier and healthier lives, and I'm busy responding to an email to John because he can't figure out how to use Google Slides, then I can't focus on serving my marketplace. So yes, when you first begin, you have to be the driver, but at a certain point, when you're making $100, $200, $1,000, you have to ask yourself, what can you do to serve the marketplace better? Number 2, you think no one else can do what I do. Right, you think you're going to lose quality, you're going to lose authenticity if you hire out. Someone said that before, I forgot who it was. So who thinks this? If you hire someone to do your stuff, you're going to lose your quality. You're going to lose authenticity. And you guys are 100% right. You will. You will lose quality. You'll be less authentic if you hire the wrong person, if you don't put in the effort. But that's also for everything in life, right? If you don't put in the effort, you don't put in the proper training, the quality will go down, your authenticity will not be as good. But that's why we have the systems and processes in place that I'll show a little bit later in the slides. For a long time, I was asking the wrong questions about when I was thinking about this, until I read the book, Who Not How. Right, whenever I have a task to do, when I was editing videos, I would always ask myself, okay, how can I edit this faster? How can I do this process faster? What can I do to speed up this process? But instead, you should be asking yourself, who, instead of how. Who can I hire to edit this video, to make it faster? Who can I bring on to create this script so I can make it faster, right? And naturally, when you are looking for a replacement or hire, you're going to want to find the perfect person. You think perfection exists, but it doesn't, okay? Eventually, looking for perfection is just another word for procrastination. You have to get comfortable of finding someone who is just 70 to 80% capable of what you do. 70 to 80%, that's a Pareto principle, right? You offload the work, find someone who is almost as good as you, so you can focus on other things that can bring more revenue and more income. Finally, I don't want to spend money. Who doesn't want to hire because they don't want to spend money, right? I also grew up super frugal. I think all of us in personal finance are really frugal. We don't want to spend money. I remember my mom would buy me size large clothes even though I was a size small because she says I would grow into it, right? So she didn't have to buy a medium or whatever. And that was the mindset that was instilled in me. But there's a problem when it comes to entrepreneurship. You can't view everything as an expense. And you guys know this too. When you buy a stock, you're not like, oh, damn, I just wasted 50 bucks, right? That's not what's going through your mind. You're thinking, oh, I'm gonna invest $50 now, and hopefully that stock is gonna go up, $6, $70, $80, whatever. As the same exact way, you should view hiring as an investment, not as a cost, not as an expense. The ultimate goal is to buy back your time so you can focus on other things. And all these 3 points, everything that everyone brought up, it ultimately falls down to opportunity cost. You guys know what that is? It is essentially the value or the thing you give up when you choose one option over another. Yeah, I'm not gonna go read all these, but essentially, yeah, you guys can read it on the screen. It is you are financially better off if you choose the option that has a lower total opportunity cost. So in this case, you're creating a website, 2 paths forward. One is doing it yourself, the other is hiring a professional. If you do it yourself, the total opportunity cost is around $4,000 in indirect cost, in potential income loss. And then if you hire a professional, it's about 2.2K, right? $200 in potential income loss, and then $2,000 for the designer. So you're better off hiring someone to do it. That is the opportunity cost model that you should go through whenever you're considering doing a task or not. So now, who should you hire first? Sorry, I'm just checking up on time. Who should you hire first? And the reality is, there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone has their own unique skills, their own preferences, and their own business models. I have friends who hired a VA first because they didn't want to manage their inbox anymore. I have friends who hired a scriptwriter first because their English was a second language. I hired a video editor because I was really bad at editing videos. But if we were to put a framework around it, I think this book is really good, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. He talks about this thing called the drip matrix. And the drip matrix is essentially a 4-quadrant matrix that allows you to assign a dollar value and allows you to assign how much energy it takes or gives away, or gives you or depletes from you for a specific task. And then based on that, your tasks fall into one of these 4 quadrants: replacement, delegation, production, and investment. And then depending on where it falls off, you would spend more time on it, you would spend less time, you would hire, and so on and so forth. I know in theory that sounds really confusing, so we'll put it in practice, we'll walk through it. So the first thing, if you want to do the drip matrix successfully, is you want to just look at everything you do. Review it, your calendars, your to-do list, understand what you're doing on a day-to-day. If you time block, then that's fantastic. Number 2 is you want to assign a dollar value to each of those tasks. How much, and the way you do that is how much revenue or income you think that will bring your business. From $1 sign to $4 signs. And then finally, you want to assign an energy value. Does it deplete your energy or does it give you energy? So in this case, this is what an example of it looking like. So for YouTube, there's content ideation, there's scripting, editing videos, uploading content, etc. And you would assign dollar values, and then the energy values as well. You don't want to spend too much time. Don't fall into analysis paralysis because you can honestly go back and forth on all these items. So just go with your first gut impression. Afterwards, you want to just plop it in there. Right, just plop it on a quadrant. You want to first focus on the bottom left, delegation. This is where the task doesn't really make you a lot of money, and it doesn't give you energy. It depletes your energy. So this is really menial tasks, like admin work, like uploading content, scheduling meetings, or invoicing. This is stuff that pretty much anyone can do. So once you have this, these are the tasks that you have three paths forward. The first one, you can just get rid of the task. If it's not a core business function, you don't really need it, just stop doing it. Number two is you can automate it. So for example, scheduling meetings. You can get Calendly or Google Calendar to automate the scheduling. Or you can use things like Zapier or Make.com in order to connect different platforms. So for instance, if you successfully created a sponsored video and you move that into a done category, you would automatically create an invoice and automatically send it to whoever that brand is. So after you get rid of, the third option is hiring a virtual assistant to obviously help you out with each of these tasks. So after you free up your time with this, you want to move on to replacement. This is stuff that brings you a lot of money, but it doesn't bring you a lot of joy. It depletes your energy. This is stuff like scripting, editing videos. Now, the reason you want to spend more time on this is because it takes a higher skill level for people to do them. So you can't just hire anyone. You have to vet, interview them, and make sure they're capable of doing what you want to do. My suggestion for this is, I know we were talking a lot about like task and hiring for a task, where like for a video editor, you give them the raw footage, they edit it, and then they spit it out, and that's the edited video. But instead of hiring for a task for this particular thing, you want to hire for a role. So for instance, I have a lead video editor who, yes, edits my videos, but he also helps me organize all my footage, all my B-rolls. He labels them so it's easy to be found. He edits the video, he uploads the video, and he also oversees some of my editing team. So I don't have to give direct feedback to anyone. So I would only really communicate with the lead video editor. So that's the distinction between a task and a role when you're hiring for. So after that, when you have free up even more time, you want to start focusing on the investment portion. This is stuff that doesn't really give you money, but it energizes you. This is stuff like networking or looking into your analytics. Right? It costs money right now, maybe, but it will give you a reward in the future. So like conferences, for example, right? It costs you your hotel fees, your airline, food, this conference cost. It's a cost in the upfront, but the goal is you meet someone, you can network with someone, so you can hopefully scale your business and make more money in the future. Then you also want to focus on production. Okay? So this would be things that give you a lot of money, or makes you a lot of money, but also energizes you. In my case, it's content ideation. And it creates a positive feedback loop when you do this. Because when you do it, it feels good, you make more money, so you keep on doing it, and that's a really awesome cycle. So the main focus of the drip matrix is focus on getting rid of the replacement and the delegation task, so you can free up your time to focus on the investment and the production task. That's how you would prioritize your hiring process. So how do you actually hire a team, right? You're scared of hiring a bad person. You don't want to screw it up because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. So again, first step is just do the drip matrix. Follow along. And then you want to create a job posting. Obviously, roles, responsibilities, ask ChatGPT, look up other roles descriptions, and just copy that. Tailor it to your own specific needs. Then you want to do work samples. What do you want the video editor, the script writer, whoever you're hiring, what quality of work do you want them to produce? Give them actual examples of what you're looking for. And then finally, pay. Right, you might think that it's very expensive to hire someone, but there are a lot of opportunities overseas, international talent. Sometimes they're even better than in the US. And you can pay them less because of relativity. But if you're making an extra $100, extra $200, $500, you are making it enough for you to hire someone overseas. You might not be able to hire for like a full role, but you can hire for a task. Right? And then you can obviously free up a couple of hours of your time from someone doing that task, and then you can focus on other things and increase your revenue, which ultimately you can make more money and ultimately hire for a role. Next is designing your filtering criteria. So when you put up a job posting, you're going to get like hundreds of applications, like spam applications. But you want to try to think of it as putting it through a funnel. So from 100 applications, what can you apply, what filters can you apply at each stage to reduce that from 100 to 80 to 50, so when you're ultimately interviewing someone and ultimately bringing them on board, you find your quality candidate. And I'll walk through what that looks like for me. So once you have your job post, you can post it on a bunch of places: Instagram to your followers, Upwork, Reddit, Twitter, Fiverr. All these different platforms have their own specialties when it comes to different hires. For example, Twitter has probably the most talented thumbnail designers. Reddit has probably some of the most talented writers. There are different subreddits. Upwork, you can pretty much hire for anything else. So at the screening stage, when 100 people apply, what do you apply to screen it? So I like to do, at the bottom of my job description, I'll put something like, if you read to the bottom of this job post, include the keyword Apple. So whenever they apply, if I see the keyword Apple, then I know they're not a spam applicant, and I know they have an attention to detail. Anyone who doesn't have the keyword Apple, I automatically filter out. Next is, I'll also say, okay, include a viewable link or a clickable link to something that matches one of my criteria is, whether that's a video edit, a script, or whatever. But if they send me a portfolio with like 100 work pieces, or if they send me an attachment I have to download, then I'm filtering them out because they're not paying attention to what I'm asking for. Clickable, viewable link. So you just want to implement a lot of these different filters to reduce the amount of time you spend looking through all the applications. Next up, assessment. For this part, for assessment, you can do things like, obviously you want to talk to them, like send them a message. You can copy and paste the message, learn about their workflow, their communication style, what they like, what they don't like. Based on that, you can filter them further. And then you can also offer to do a paid test sample of 1 minute of footage or a paragraph of writing. So it really protects your downside because you're not paying for the full thing, but you can also see their actual work examples. So from here, you got 100 people, filter down to 50 people, to 30 people, maybe 20 people. After they send out the work examples, review it. If it looks good, fantastic, move them on. You can do a video call or an interview. And at this point, you can do a paid full sample. So a paid full video edit or a paid full writing sample. And again, do the same process. You're just constantly filtering down until you get to onboarding trial. This is when you want to bring someone on, test them out for 30 days to see if they can actually deliver what they promised. And if you're stuck at this part, where you constantly you have workers who probably aren't delivering as much as they promised, or a lot of people are just leaving, or they're quitting, or you're firing them, and chances are, it could be you, right? You're going to have to hold yourself accountable too. Sometimes it's you who's the problem, which is why this next part is so important. You guys know what this is? Brownies. Who likes brownies? Raise your hand. Okay. Who knows how to make brownies? Who has made brownies before? If I went up to you right now and asked you for the instructions on how to make a brownie, how many of you can make a brownie? No one? Okay, 2 people. But what if I gave you this? How many of you guys can make brownies now? All of you guys, right? You got 3-step instructions. But why? It's because there's a process in place. There's something you can follow that you can give to anyone, and if they follow the instructions carefully, then they can reproduce the result. So hiring a team onboarding a team is essentially like baking a brownie. If you want the same flavor, same consistency, same taste, you have to be able to break down the steps to achieve that result. So how do you do that? Right now, if you're a solopreneur or a brand new content creator, how you do secret things, it probably looks like this in your head. Like this is your secret sauce, essentially, right? In your head, it looks really, really clear. You know how to move this over there, you know how to connect that, you know how to connect that. But if a third-party observer looked into your brain, this is probably what it looks like. They have no clue what you're doing. So what is your secret sauce? The whole point of this is you're going to have to break everything down step by step. Right? You're going to create a recipe, something that's easy to follow for someone that you can just pass it on to them. An SOP, a process, whatever. Call it whatever you want. Recipe. But how do you do that? You guys ever watch The Office? Yes. Yeah. So essentially, The Office is these people work in an office, and a camera crew follows them around, which sounds really boring, but it's actually really funny. Yeah, the camera crew follows them around and basically documents their day-to-day. And that's essentially what you want to do. You want to do the video camera method in order to understand what your secret sauce is. So it first starts off with an outline. You want to upload a video on TikTok, on Instagram. What does it actually look like? Break down the outline. So that'd be like, step 1 is coming up with a content idea. Number 2 is validating the idea. Number 3 is, I don't know, scripting, whatever the case may be. Next, you want to come up with the criteria on what makes that step successful. Maybe market validation. Has that idea been done before by 5 other creators? How many views have they had? For the scripting, how many words does it have to have? Does it have to have a hook, a click, a 1 line, 2 lines, whatever? What makes that step successful? Number 3 is collecting evidence. So you want to show past examples or past work that you've done that whoever you hire can reference and be able to replicate and know that they were successful. Number 4 is you want to record. So just record yourself doing the task from step A to step Z. Whether that's ideation, so set up a camera, or use Loom, walk through your thought process, so for whoever you hire, they can follow along. And finally, number 5 is reviewing it. Because chances are when you are first creating a whole process of whatever your secret sauce is, you're gonna leave stuff out because your brain is gonna fill in the blank on what people need to do. But the person that's gonna be picking up your SOP or your process, they're not gonna know. So congratulations, you created a process that looks something like this. So how do you communicate it? This is when you start integrating everything into a system. This is when you need, for example, a chat communication software, a tool, right? There's Slack, there's Discord to communicate with your team. You need a project tracker like Trello or Notion in order to manage all your tasks and projects that you're doing. You need a cloud storage to store everything you need to do. And ultimately, all this connects together with a process. Obviously, you can make it more complicated or less complicated. But this is a system that you eventually will create a process for to bring your team on board. And eventually, you want to scale and automate the process, right? More processes, more systems. How can you make it more efficient? So what I like to do with my people that I work with, like my lead video editor, for example, or my script writers, is eventually we'll work together for a long period of time where they can create the process for me. So I'll ask them, okay, we've been working together for like 6 months. What do you think you need to do if someone else were to join a team? So they create the SOPs. So at that point, that scales, that automates. So you don't really have to create the process anymore. Everything just fits really nicely into the system themselves. So I know we talked a lot about creating a system and process to free up like your time so you can focus on other things. But another real reason is the reality is people leave. Your team members will leave. They will quit. And unfortunately, the job still exists. So if you don't have a system or a process, you can think of it like having a car, right? If someone comes, you train them, you spend a lot of time with them, you build up the car, you put the wheels together, you teach them how to drive, and they're driving. But then if they leave, and the next person joins, if you don't have a system out, you have to build the car again, from scratch. And that takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources. But what if you had the system and process in place where the car is already built, and someone just comes in later on, hops in the driver's seat, maybe they have to adjust some windows, adjust the seats a little bit, but it saves a lot more time because the car's already built. You can just take it off and run. And over time, you want to optimize the system, look for different tools and areas where you can automate it, make it more efficient, like ChatGPT. If you connect it with some automation softwares, you can like instantly generate captions or whatever the case may be. Yeah, there are lots of different tools for you to optimize your systems. Look for inefficiencies. Have weekly meetings with your team members to understand what are some ways you can improve communication, or what are some things they can do to improve. How can we cut down time to do X, Y, and Z? And then you obviously just keep on implementing into your system. So the ultimate goal of all this is, again, to free up your time so you can focus on more important things, things that bring you value, things that help you grow, things that make you feel fulfilled. And again, things like watching TikTok videos. Thank you. That's all. Thank you. I also left some time for a Q&A if people had any questions about, oh no, I think we're out of time. But yeah, if you guys want questions. Anyone have questions? Yes. Yeah, so the question was, I have 130 something videos on my YouTube channel. Did I ever delete or clean up videos? The answer is yes. I removed videos where it was very cringe when I was very bad on camera. Yeah, it's mainly the videos where I was embarrassed. Sorry, say that one more time? Oh, good question. Okay, if we want to get more technical, I also deleted videos when I was changing or pivoting my niche a bit. So for instance, when I initially started YouTube, I was focused on the investing niche. People who are like very interested in investing, obviously. So I made a lot of content there. But I realized that I wanted to pivot into more general personal finance because there's a bigger total addressable market than just that small niche of investing. So in my thought, I was like, okay, if my old investing videos were still bringing in traffic, and how YouTube's algorithm works is it feeds to your initial viewers, tests it with them before it expands and sends it out to elsewhere, I have to chop off the entire arm that's bringing in these investing people who might not be interested in personal finance. So I also removed my investing videos to solely just focus on the personal finance viewers. I don't know if that helps or anything. Okay. Yeah. To take care of the hiring and stuff. I guess it really goes back down to opportunity cost. I don't have an operations manager right now. I like to do the hiring just because I want to make sure the culture fits. But potentially in the future I would hire. But again, you would just go back down to the opportunity cost equation. If you're doing a lot of hiring and it's taking a lot of time, then is your time better spent elsewhere? We can bring on an operations manager to oversee that. So look at how much time that hiring process takes you, and then just calculate how many hours you're spending on that versus how much an operation manager would cost.
How do you balance when it comes to your passion versus productivity?
Ooh, that's a good question. Balancing passion and productivity. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like at a certain point for all content creators, if you really want to scale and build out your business, you try to be productive and you kind of, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just making something up right now. Yeah, there is no balance. Sorry, I can come up with a better answer later. Yeah.
So at this point in your career, how many hours do you work and what are the specific tasks
Yeah.
that you think you won't give up? Like,
Yeah.
you won't give away?
Okay, so the question was, right now, how many hours do I spend working on specific tasks? Good question. I haven't timed myself, but I will say what my workflow is. Does that help? So I do content ideation. So I'll do research and I'll come up with the video topics based on whatever is working. And then from there, I'll pass it on to my video editor, my script writer, who will, I either give them an outline or they produce the outline, and then they'll do the first draft. From there, I'll give feedback, maybe like half an hour, and then they make revisions, and then once that is approved, I'll film it, maybe half an hour, and then I'll send it off to my video editor, who will do all that stuff, edit the videos, and then I'll give feedback, and then he'll help me post it. So a lot of my work is now spent on, well, more recently it's spent on more like strategy, like business strategy. What can I do to expand the business? What verticals can I explore? So it's not as much time spent on content creation in itself, on like the video content. Yes, Imran? Or JC?
So do you ever feel like, now that you have this team, do you ever feel like you're more of a manager than a creator, or do you identify as more of a manager or creator?
Yeah. I would like to tell myself that I'm more of a business owner than a content creator, but I think it's cooler to say I'm a content creator. But I personally say I'm a business owner. Yeah.
Do you provide compensation based on performance, on a fixed salary, or is it flat?
Yeah, so it depends on the role. So my lead editor is salaried. So no matter how many videos he makes or doesn't make, he gets paid a flat fee. Everyone else is contract based. I tried for a period of time to hire someone like a producer who would help me come up with content ideation ideas, and I would pay them based on how the video performed. But that didn't work out, so everything's flat or per hour or contract based.
You ever thought about leveraging equity?
Equity? No, I haven't. Maybe next step. Maybe when the business is even bigger, we can do equity partnerships with people.
You ever had to fire anybody?
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. Actually, no, if they're not performing, it's not too hard. Because Because that's where the onboarding trial comes in, right? You give 30 days notice, and then you say, hey, it's not working out, thank you for your time, blah, blah, blah. It also helps when you work with, actually, no, that's a little shady. No, I won't talk about that. But yes, I have hired people. I have fired people. Yeah.
How do you mix your personality with a script
Yeah.
that's written by someone that's not you?
Yeah, so as part of my onboarding document, or SOP, I have existing videos that tell my story that my people that I hire need to watch so they can understand who I am as a person, what I stand for, my values, and my experiences. So based on that, they'll try their best to craft that story into the actual script. But of course, I'm also putting eyes on the script before I film it. So like, I'll just move stuff around if it's not like super accurate.
Where do you get your content inspiration from? Is it from scrolling on TikTok for hours, or?
Yeah, you see the 72 hours on the screen? Yeah, it's just everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Basically, my strategy is very strategic in the sense like you want to make what is working already. Obviously, you want experimentation as well. So you want to do a lot of market validation. So, for example, Financial Tortoise over here. He has a great YouTube channel. We take a lot of inspo from each other. I mean, that's part of the game. It's just how can you take the topic, put your own spin on it, and make it even better? Or how can you put your own unique twist to it? So like, there's a book called Steal Like an Artist that I highly recommend. It's really good. Yeah. Yes.
I think about management, because I know it's a little outside of the structure, but I know a lot of creators, like that's one of the first things they offer is their sort of management programs and things like that. If you aren't managed, like, I guess do you enjoy that process, do you enjoy the business development, or is it something that you want later on?
Yeah, so the question was about management in terms of brand deals, right? Negotiation and stuff like that. For a long time, I did my own negotiation because I couldn't find someone who, one, was sourcing me deals rather than just managing my inbox for deals, and number two, who could negotiate a better rate than I can. I recently am working with someone on a non-exclusive basis where he's pretty good. He also brings me active deals. He doesn't manage my inbox, I'll just forward stuff to him and he'll negotiate. But the rate is fair, and I think he does a pretty good job. Yes.
Kind of two-part. How much of your stuff is freelance work? And then, was there any maybe mistakes or things that you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this better when it came to like contract verbiage or different types of approaches to bringing them on that you're like, oh, I should have thought about that before I signed.
Oh, okay. How much is contract work? So I have one full-time hire, and the other 5 are all contract. I'd say things that I started including more to incentivize people, because contract work, they're always actively looking for other opportunities. So I incentivize. So I'll do one trick is like I'll offer like a $500 or $1,000 bonus if we work for 6 months together, or if we work for 12 months, and then you unlock another bonus if before you leave, bring someone else on and you train them, or you help create a document for that. So they're incentivized to stay longer for additional bonuses, and then also to help train the next person you bring on. But obviously, like, I don't treat people like crap. Like, I pay them fairly. So yeah, I haven't had churn in a good amount of time. Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Mia Grant. I'm the college guest coach, and I help college students make manage money. So I'm going to be hiring college interns. So what's your feedback around hiring like someone in college or a recent grad? They're not like an expert with years of experience. Is it the same, or are they different?
I've never hired an intern before. I don't know. So this intern, they have no experience doing whatever the role you're hiring for?
That's their major. Like they're a marketing major. They're looking to get experience, and I need a marketing intern. I don't have like that.
That's tough. I don't usually hire people just because they have an education background on something. Like I want to see practical work experience. Like I'm sure you know, like if you took a marketing course in college, it's like completely not relevant nowadays. It's outdated. I don't know. I guess create some onboarding training things, collect different tutorials that you find online and have them also watch that. Also, I think as part of the filtering process, like ask them questions that maybe are more modern and updated than what they learned in academia to really see if they understand marketing as as a function rather than as a, like as a field.
I'm curious, what is the conversation within you about like creating content with your little ecosystem of people you hired for your platforms versus creating UGC for other companies and then those can also be brand deals? Like what factors do you consider?
The question, sorry, say it one more time.
It's like creating content on your platforms
Yeah.
versus creating content for other brands to post on their platforms with user-generated content. Like how do you leverage your team to also create?
So I don't create UGC content. I don't offer that as a thing with brands, so I can't speak on that. Yeah, but I think the team is like a plug and play process. So like regardless if you're making videos for you or you're making videos for someone else, it should be the same workflow. Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, good question. Okay, so the question is, I make short form content for Instagram and TikTok. Why don't I also upload them on my long form YouTube channel? That's the first question. The second question was, do I see good conversion from Instagram, TikTok to YouTube? The first question is, the first answer is, I don't do it because I don't think the YouTube's algorithm is robust enough yet, in the sense that short form viewers don't really convert well to long form viewers. So you see a bunch of YouTube channels with 1 million subscribers, all short form, but once they put a long form video, they get like 200 views. I don't think it's robust enough. And also, I don't recommend new YouTubers who are trying to break into the long form space to do that, because you're gonna get discouraged, right? If you're getting thousands of views on short form and you upload it, but then you upload it long form and you get 200 views, you're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna be like, oh, long form sucks. I'm not gonna stop trying, but I'm just gonna focus on short form. So I think there's that perception of it as well. But I think YouTube is trying to fix that or make that a little better. The second question was regarding conversions across platforms. I don't see that happening too much. I'd say if you are very, very personality based, that might work. Like lifestyle, like people are watching you for your personality, that works. But from a knowledge creator perspective, I don't think it works that much. So like, they're just different groups of people. So ultimately, my funnel works like everyone feeds to my newsletter, rather than making my Instagram viewers go into long form. Everyone just goes to my newsletter. Any more, one or two more questions? JC?
Did you wait till you made your first dollars from your channel before you made your first hire?
Yeah. But also, if you're working a full-time job and you're having trouble balancing, also if you're working a full-time job and doing content creation, Genesis is having a talk at 3:30, so check it out. But if you're working a full-time job and you're having trouble balancing content creation and your full-time job, again, look at the opportunity cost. Maybe it's a better play for you to take $500 from your salary and hire a video editor so you can be less stressed and focus on other things. All right, one last question. I saw a hand somewhere. Yeah.
What is your biggest regret with regards to building a team? Now, you may tell me I should have done it earlier, but something that's maybe a little bit more unknown that you've experienced.
My biggest regret of starting a team? Biggest mistake when I started a team. Huh. Well, I'll get back to you. I don't know. There's one more hand in the back over there. Yeah. I've been working with this guy for 2 years. But when I initially was looking for scriptwriters, it takes a long time. It's really hard to find a talented scriptwriter who can be flexible and also write in the finance niche and also be able to tell stories creatively. It takes a while. But that's also where, like, when I first started, I interviewed or I spoke with maybe 30 or 40 people before I found this person. But that's also where the filtering comes in. I didn't have this filtering criteria in the beginning. So this saves a lot more time. I saw one more hand. Yes. Wait, sorry, I can't hear you.
How important is it to be authentic to share your personal story
Yeah.
on your platform?
How important is it to share your personal story? I think it's pretty important. I think what helps people grow really fast is, or what makes you stand out a lot is vulnerability in sharing things that are unique to you. Like everything that we all teach, someone can find it on Google. Anyone can talk about it. But why one viewer watches your content over another is because they connect with you on a deeper level. And if you don't share your personal story, what values you stand for, why you're doing what you're doing, or where you came from, or anything like that, then they have no reason to watch you over someone else, or using ChatGPT, or going on Google. Okay. Is that it? Is that all the questions? Also, for the mistake, I will get back to you after this. I don't have an answer right now. Cool. Thank you, everyone.